there, guys and gals. Guess what? We're getting to some meat and taters over again. And yep, we're gonna make some more ground on the old banditas. And you remember how I was telling you that the engine in this car had a pilot bushing? Yeah. So we got pilot bearing removal tool. And we already have a slide hammer, thank God. Now, if you don't have these, you can rent these tools, I believe. Now, you don't have to have this particular tool, and I will tell you what you can do. You can fill this hole full of grease, okay? Find a bolt that fits snug, but you can still pull it out of there. Take some black tape, wrap around the bolt. Make sure you're filling this hole all the way full of grease. Take the bolt and punch it through. It will actually move the bearing out. It's just messier. So, I believe I looked up this engine block. If I looked at the right number. And let's see, what did I find? Anyway, so that's one way you can remove it. I'll dig on my phone here in a minute and look for that number. I believe this is a 2001 motor, if I found the correct motor number thingy, bob. Anyway, so this tool here, of course, attaches to a slide hammer. And I thought that I'd already opened it. Thanks to my buddies at O'Reilly's again. So this part was like 18 bucks or something. I'll open it. And what this does, you put it in there, you thread it, and see what happens? These fingers spread out, and then you just slide hammer it on out. So we're going to do that rather than the grease trick. One, because I like to have the right tools for the job if I can. Two, they had it in stock. That's really another reason why we're doing it like that. And we already have a slide hammer. So if we didn't have the slide hammer, they didn't have it in stock, we'd be doing the grease trick, absolutely. Or we'd just be busting it out and trying to get it out with a screwdriver, or however I got the last one out. Maybe a screwdriver. Maybe I cut it out. I don't really remember. And it was because I didn't really know about the grease trick. But anyway, that was a few days ago. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And then we are going to mount our brand new-ish, I say ish because it's used, flywheel right here. It's a monster. Not like the size or anything, but it's the brand. Real lightweight. We're going to mount it with our new bolts. That has the... Now, Monster recommends that you use red Loctite. I believe these ones already have blue on them. This is a stock car. We're not pushing 1,000 horse ponies. It'd be nice, but we're not. So, you know, you gotta do your due. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we're gonna mount all of this good fun stuff up, and then we're going to start measuring for where to cut the hole for the shifter. All right? This right here is going to mount so much easier. I mean, so much easier. Anyway, we also, whenever we did the T5 swapperini, got a pilot alignment tool, clutch alignment tool, I guess. And it's the T5 and T6 are the exact same clutch alignment tool, if you guys didn't know that. And it came from Ram Clutches, I believe. I ordered it on the Amazonian site, and it's metal. You don't have to worry about it like wearing out unless you don't have to worry about wearing out. That's just, yeah, you don't. Anyway, so we're going to get this bearing removed. We're going to put our new one in with probably, I think I have a block of wood in here somewhere, or maybe a rubber mallet. You know, something to where we're not damaging that thing, because that would not be gooder. And we're going to make it flush with the crankshaft. So we're going to try this fella. It'll work. And go from there, all right? But you just put the things in there with the teeth and they honk in and pull him right out. I'd show you, but my camera guy quit. So, I mean, it's easily enough done. You just thread this piece right here on here. And as that screws in, it'll allow, you might have to take a flathead screwdriver or something to wedge in here so it doesn't back out. If that happens, you know, use a flathead or something, anything to wedge that out, and you'll be good to go. Okay, it doesn't really take a whole heaping lot of pressure to pop these suckers out, okay? Other than that, if you don't want to do it that way, by all means, the grease trick 100% works. You just have to have a good seal. That's why you just can't use a bolt. You have to use a bolt with some tape on it to kind of seal it. And you'll have to refill that hole maybe once or twice, depending on, you know, how much grease it is and you got back there and, you know, all that fun stuff. But anyway, we got to get started. We got a lot of stuff to do in a short time to get there, all right? Give us a few and we'll come right back at you, all right? Well, guys and gals, we ran into multiple little issues because I thought I had everything. I made a boo-boo. I don't have the clutch mounting bolts. So we're going to get those tomorrow now. Dang it. So I did make a big boo-boo on that. I might be able to round something up, but I really want the right bolts for the right thing, you know? Don't got them. Anyway, so tonight, tonight we're going to be going to bed early, which is not a bad thing. And furthermore, our tool here, we kind of had to modify said tool with a grinder quite a bit. I cut the back sides and rounded the corners right here a little bit. Let me show you. So I had to grind that quite a bit on both sides because this wouldn't fit in the needle bearing type pilot bushing. Yeah, I kind of lost my words there. So we ground it down, we made it work, and it popped out with ease. And apparently I'm out of black tape. Yep, I was going to do the black tape trick. Tried duct tape. Duct tape didn't work too well for me. So I've seen it work. I officially have not made it work. You try it, let me know how it works. There's a guy at work, his name's Eric. Very smart man. Heck of a mechanic. I mean, technician. He is excellent. Anyway, I know he said he's never even bought the tool because he always does it with a grease and a bolt, some tape, and shoves it right out. However, he did say these needle bearing ones might not work like that because there's not much surface to push against. So that was that. Secondly, we're going to go ahead and just cut the hole in the floor. You know why? Because tonight's not going to be in vain for anything. So we put the automatic shifter just right back in, just for a second, lined up the holes, and I tell you, I think, no, I didn't bolt it down. See that hole right there? You guessed it, we're going to drill it right there. And the reason why is that right there is about neutral. Okay? So, methinks that's where the neutral will be on the shifter. And we're not going the full length diameter of the shifter. All we're doing is using a hole saw, wherever I put it. In fact, it's the same 1.5" hole saw bit that we used to punch through the firewall. You're going to need a hole bigger than 1.5 inches. Now, why? Well, if you've never done a clutch or anything on these, one of the first things you do on a standard transmission is remove the shifter. So it's going to at least have to be this big, right? So, for argument's sake, if I drill a hole and it ends up here, I still have plenty to modify, don't I? Yep, sure do. And I'll be able to look down and hopefully I'll see somewhere in here-ish. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'll be able to see that. Now this shifter will not be on, but I'll be able to see this, you know, where this plate mounts. And we'll get a good idea where I need to cut and all that good jazz. Just like we did on the iRock. This one's going to be a little cleaner, I believe. I hope. I actually have a better way of cutting it with the little tiny Sawzall looking, the air thing, you know, that thing. But tonight we're going to cut the hole in there, and we're probably going to call it wraps tonight. Come back out tomorrow with bolts. You know, we may get on the internet because I want to use the right strength type bolts. I don't know if they're grade 10, 12, 86, 42. Hut. I don't know. So I'm at least going to drill the hole exactly right there where that hole is. Not this one, but this one. See how that's recessed in there? That's where I'm going to drill. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's where I'm drilling. And then we're going to raise it back up just for gigs. And we're going to see if we don't have some bolts around here. And we're going to get on the internet and see what grade they need to be. And that's probably going to be it tonight, because I don't know if I have any. And I'm definitely not putting it together with bolts I think is it. Darn it. I thought I had them. I should have them. That's the darndest thing. But anyway, we'll be back hopefully later tonight. If I find bolts, I don't know. And we're just going to hit it again. We'll do another, you know, all that with the transmission stuff and magic. Anyway, we're going to come back at it, and I'll let you know what other kind of mess we run into, all right? So just give us a few. All right, guys and gals, we're starting off a lot better than what we did the other day, last night, which was, you know, not funner. So it appeared to me whenever I was putting in the clutch, or trying to, I didn't have the bolts. So I ordered some ARP, and they are specific LS bolts from ARP. Actually, I ordered them from my buddies at O'Reilly's, and they got them for me today. I ordered them for it today, and they got me for them today. So we've installed our clutch with our new Ram clutch alignment tool, new pilot bushing, the whole nine. We're pretty happy. We're going to be putting on the bell housing, and I'm telling you, this is going to be so much more gooder than the last one was. And I can tell you that easily because you can put this on in 2 pieces. This is how heavy the other piece is. Well, I guess I should have cleaned that up a little. Well, maybe I'll scrape it down real quick. But anyway, just to show you how easy you can get to the bolts. I mean, you can reach them all from here. No extensions, I don't think. So let me get that hooked up and I'll show you what we got. All right. All right, guys and gals, here's what we're going to do. Right there's where we are. We are getting ready to throw the 6-speed up in it. We put it on our jack. We put this heavy duty strap on, LOL, so we can winch it up there with no big old to do. And I took the shifter off. It has this special kind of, I don't really know, going on here. So I'm thinking I might be able to raise this up in the car and see how far off we are on this shifter or not. Hopefully we're not far off at all. I hope. If we are, it is what it is. We'll make it good. You know what I mean? So here goes nothing. Now you may want to put a little bit of pilot grease right here on the end of your shaft there. And I hope you bought that extended bleeder I was telling you about. Go ahead and install it now, or forever hold your peace, because you ain't getting that piece in there. Promise you. So, apparently I didn't tighten that part. Man, that could have been bad. All right, so make sure you clock it as so. Like I say, it's got a fairly new slave cylinder in it. So I didn't replace it. Hopefully it's all gooder. We're gonna say it is. And then, yeah, we're gonna tighten that little piece down, send it on up, and bolt her on in. By the way, it took like 2 minutes to bolt that bell housing in. I could reach them all with my gadgets. It was pretty nice. So we're gonna go ahead and do it to it. And then we'll be finalizing the hole for the shifter. Sound good? Then we'll have to come back down, put all this other good stuff back in here. We're gonna do the pinion seal while we're at it. You know, all that good jazz. So let's go ahead and put this transmission up in here. I don't think we're gonna put the cross member in just because I don't have the hole drilled, and I don't know, I might have to remove this. I finger tightened this thing in because I think that might hit the floor. I think we might go ahead and just remove it. We're going to. Let's remove it, set it to the side, and then if we do decide to cut, we'll cover this up. I think that sounds like the more gooder idea. So that's what we're going to do. I did take that shifter out just because, but we're going to go ahead and take the whole shifter off. Set it to the side, raise him up, and hopefully this goes in pretty fairly smooth, you know. Wish me luck, guys and gals. Let's put a 6-speed in. Well, we got the transmission in, mostly. We have our line to feed up through to bleed it. We've caught a snag in this line, trying to push him in the slave cylinder there. But most importantly, I want you guys to know something. The torque bar, manual, and automatic, they're different. So, yeah. We've hit like snag after snag on this. That's different. Actually, I'll keep that because I'll keep that with the automatic and it'll just be gooder. The IROC tail shaft one was the exact same. Actually, it may have been different because I had the whole parts car. So I can't say yay or nay on that. However, that's different. So that's great. The cross member is absolutely different. They're labeled auto, which you probably can't see, I don't know. That says V8 auto. The other one says V8 manual. So that's a big difference. But just in case you're wondering, yep, that's different. The your torque rod or thingy, you know, that runs back to the rear end, that's different. I honestly had no idea. So we're going to be delayed more on this project, which is just peaches because it's not like I really want to drive the car. So what we're going to do now, we're not stopping. We're pushing forward and we're going to cut a hole in the floor because that's what you do with anger management. You know, you got to manage this here anger. You got to figure out what would make you happy. What would make you happy? Just cutting something up. Because then you found a screw in your tire. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's just good stuff. Good stuff. So the good thing is we have our transmission up in there. So we can't complain about that. It actually went fairly smooth. It's the smoothest I've ever done it because I've never done one on a lift of my own. And by myself. I did the IROCs all by myself, but that was on the floor. I've done a couple of these Trans Ams on the floor. Not fun. So, lift, oh yeah, make friends with somebody like that. But not this fella, because he's always got something on it, you know what I mean? Gosh. So we're gonna let this puppy down. We're gonna cut a hole in the floor. And we may, I don't know, we may just call it a night tonight after that, because we're kind of stumped. Actually, you know what? We're gonna try to push in that line a few more times, just because I would like to throw brake fluid in there and possibly bleed that thing somewhat. I probably should have pushed in the throwout bearing / slave cylinder while I had it out. Probably would have been a more gooder move, just guessing. Yep, I'm hearing a few of you said it would have. Why didn't you? Well, you know, I got nothing good to say on that. So hopefully it's not this line. I hope it's not this line at all, because that means re-adding the line to the little master cylinder that's way under the brake booster that's under there. We're trying not to do that. And okay, we're just going to get busy trying to connect that line again, and then we're going to bring the car back down to earth, and we're going to cut a hole in the floor, because that just feels good. Okay, give me like 20-30 hours and we'll be right here where we started. Okay, guys and gals, for the last thing tonight, what we are going to do is cut the hole in the floor, like I said, like 12 times. Ugh. You remember the hole that we just randomly drilled? What is that? That's a socket in my pocket. Okay, anyway. Get out of there. Oh, it's a flashlight. Okay. So looky there. Right there is the edge of our shifter. Right here, and right back here is the very end of it. So that worked out real good. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to use our little saw. Sawzall? No. This saw. Why this saw? Little to no sparks. And adjustable depth. You see that? What we're planning to do is keep it at an angle. One, because we kind of have to. And then we're going to cut this piece off. We're going to cut up here, because there's a hole up here where the shifter was as well. Now we can feel, and right here ish, I say ish, oh, that paint fell off. Anyway, right here ish is where we need to cut. In front of that, you'll want to feel, you can feel the front of that shifter. So there's plug-ins there. We're going to want to be real careful right there. There's wires there. Dang it. So we're going to try to move those around a little bit. Keep it shallow as we can. See all those wires? We definitely don't want to cut them now, do we? I think we might be good now. Okay. So right here ish feels about like where we got to cut. I think we're only going to cut really as long and as wide as we need to. And we're going to do that by totally guessing. That's right, I said it. Just totally guessing. And you'll see why here in a minute. We actually have a pretty big forgiving rubber boot that goes over and protects us from any kind of blooperisms that we've caused. So, without further ado, we're going to start cutting on this back edge. We already know right here, let me get you guys right there. Right on this edge is the edge of that shifter. It's fully mounted. It's just not all the way up, all the way. So we're just going to follow a straight line right down through here, as shallow as we can. Remember, there may be something else underneath there. We don't want to hit anything. I don't feel anything else, but that doesn't mean clear back here. Okay, yeah, it does, because I don't feel anything else. And we're going to go on this back side to about right here-ish, to the edge of this plate, I believe. We're going to do both these sides right here. Then we're going to bend it back a little bit to see where we need to cut. I'm betting pretty much where this plate is this whole plate right here is where we're going to remove. I'm actually going to saw this part off right here, right before this bracket right here to this body control module. Without further ado, I'm gonna cut this hole. Let's see how we do, okay? Give me just a few minutes. Guys and gals, we got it in there. Now, keep in mind, I cut it just a little wide, but it works. This was already here for the automatic shifter. I mean, it come out pretty square. I just used that corner right there. And this is why it isn't going to matter if it's a little oversized, because this fits. Yeah, I haven't removed that kick down cable or whatever yet, but you get it. And looky there, we have no extra anything, no extra hole anywhere. And that is how it's done, my friend. That's the lower shift boot, whatever. And what that does is seal it for the floor, because they knew that people from the factory was probably going to mess that hole up cutting it. So nonetheless, this more than covers absolutely everything that I need it to, and then some. Yeah, so it's been a minute, a couple more days, and well, Dad's got his somewhat beard back. We have just like hit like 7 different brick walls at the same time. We end up cutting the hole out in the floor. It come out actually really well. And I'm trying to remember where I left off at. So I think I was showing you guys the floor, I think. And stuff like that. So I'll lower the car, and we have, it's just been a mess to piece. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot the eye rocks behind it. I can't let this darn thing down. Give me like give me a few minutes. I'm just gonna scream bloody murder for a minute, and we'll be right back. All right? Oh, man. But the floor come out really good. All right? Yeah. Just hello again. Yep. Okay, we got the car lowered. It's just, the good thing is we got our parts in. We got our back bracket that apparently is different. Hopefully I mentioned that and it didn't cut off before, but I don't remember. So this shift boot, okay, you're going to want to buy that. They made this oversized for a lot of reasons, one of them being that if you cut too big a hole, guess what? Hello. The automatic shift cover is already bigger. You know what I mean? I mean, let's just, you know, cover him up. Now, you shouldn't get the whistle, none of that stuff, whenever you torque this old sucker down. But we have another issue, and I should probably grab these tools, especially a light, because lights are important. What we have here is a failure, no, not to communicate, to get the hydraulic clutch line on. I don't know about you guys, but in a hydraulic clutch car type system, that's not gooder. By the way, what I was going to mention about this floor, remember the grinder wheel, cutoff wheel? Let's not use that. And for simple facts that carpets like to catch on fire, these like to throw sparks. That's what I was going to show you guys. In fact, if you saw how crisp that cut really is, it's because old Dad was using this little mini body saw. Harbinese Freight. Yeah, these things are worth their weight. That sucker there did a stellar job, and it's adjustable right here. You can adjust your depth. Make sure you can either feel or see what you're cutting at, because I really doubt you want to cut into your transmission and do all that, because that don't seem gooder. So unfortunately today, kids, we're going to go backwards to go forwards. And the hydraulic line's not pushing on. And I read a trend that I may have made a bleeper of a blooper right here in this guy. This one right here, I think I wasn't supposed to tighten that other piece that's in there. I think, I don't know. So I think it shut off the line as far as pushing fluid. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but needless to say, we're gonna jack it up again. Yep, it's like the 147th time. Not a big deal. And we're probably dropping the transmission. Yep, and then we're going to go ahead and replace the throwout bearing. Yep. We're gonna put that throwout bearing over on the bench, probably, more than likely. And we're gonna scratch our heads and just ponder, well, what's really going on here? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's just all. We probably should have replaced this clutch slave cylinder anyway, honestly. This one come from O'Reilly's, and I'm gonna tell you, honestly, I'm not a real big fan of it already, and I'll tell you why. I bought one from the AutoZonian site place once that was built real similar to this on a WS6 car of mine, an authentic one, and it gave me nightmares. Why? Because I'm driving the car, I push in the clutch, getting fuel, and the hydraulic line popped off. How did it pop off? Because this clip wasn't strong enough to hold the hydraulic line in. It held long enough for me to bleed the daggone clutch, but not enough for me to drive the car twice. That's what happened. So I really don't care for this type setup. Granted, this is not an AutoZone part. AutoZonians, yeah, let's just say AutoZonian. You know what I'm talking about, right? We're going to bench bleed it by hooking the line into it, pushing it down like that, and hopefully getting most of it bled before we go on. Because I am not about, I'm not trying to not have it bench bled. These things are a pain in the hind end. They really are. They're terrible to bleed. If you've never done it, it's not gooder. It's not gooder at all. These things, I hate these things because they're such a pain in the hind end. Brad Dyer says he has a picture of me doing something to a car that it never happened. Never happened. I don't know what he's talking about. I have a vacuum pump for what I'm gonna do. You suck the air out of the reservoir, right? Like you have a vacuum pump and you do that. I heard that worked. It somewhat worked on the 2000 model that I had. This one, we're just gonna bench bleed it and hopefully we're 97% there and it just needs like the 0.2. Is that right? 92. We're going to say 99.9%. We just need the 0.1. That sounds even more gooder. And that's what we're going to hope. So I'm not going to record me taking out the transmission because I feel just ingenious. And we may try to see if we can crack that line. I'll show you guys if that happens to be the real deal on it. If the line was the fault, I am absolutely going to show you guys the bleeder line being the fault, okay? And then I will probably swear against those things for life. All right, give me a few minutes. We'll see what's going on with it, all right? You know how I say I'm the king of bad and junk parts? It just happened again. As I'm bleeding the clutch, And I'm starting to build pressure. I just want to show you guys that my battery's dead. Okay, good. I didn't really want to show you with that light anyway. Let me replug in my lights. If I could find, do I have a cell phone on me? Like, you can't make this up. It took me forever, by the way, to try to build pressure. I think I know why. I think this hunk of poop line that I've now had 2 troubles with, aka stay away from Dorman. I am a little bit more than displeased right now. And I can't find my flashlight on here. I'm a droider for real, and this is a iPhone, so I can't ever find anything on here. Like, where are you? What's really going on? I don't know what any of this means. Anyway, I don't even know how to work this phone. It's ridiculous. Anyway, and it's an older one. It's like a 10 or an X or something. Something to do with 10 or an X or something. 10X maybe? I don't know. I don't speak like Tekanese or whatever. So I want to show you kids. Just now, thank God I called my friends again yet at O'Reilly's. I'll have a new hose in tomorrow, but I won't get to work on it tomorrow because we have plans. Hopefully you guys can see this. This hose, she busted apart and just started hosing. The hose started hosing. But it did that. It's not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to come out the hole. It's supposed to stay in the hole, you know, and not do that. But it did that. So now we are again waiting on parts. The O-ring was actually the problem on that the exact whole time. And what do I mean? I mean, Dorman, you only cannot make a hose. You can't even make it with the right O-ring on it. I went to O'Reilly's yet again, and I had read a thread that somebody used a green O-ring to fix this problem. Apparently, they said that GM used a certain style, certain thickness type O-ring, and the ones that come on these are not correct. Well, I wished I knew your name, buddy. You are more than 100% correct. I threw 3 green ones on there trying to find it, found it, and it sealed. And then that happened. So that we have to pull the booster again, I think. Hopefully not. Hopefully I can sneak it somehow. So I won't record that again. We're just a little bit more than frustrated. We've had our butt kicked all the way around on this one. And we're going to actually order even a backup hose, which won't be here till like 2 days before I go on vacation. So, yeah. So anyway, and just, I mean, like right before my surgery. So that's going to be even more gooder-ish. Not at all. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it quits on this one until we can get a good line. And then we'll bleed it again. And then we'll tidy this mug up, okay? But anyway, guys, don't buy a Dorman hose. Don't do it. Get the Holly, get the McLeod or McLean, whatever it is. They're both expensive. The Holly's supposed to be a high flow. I'm going to order it like right meow. So, yeah. I'll be back another day and we'll try to do this again. All right? Day 12 of the extravaganza of the 6-speed swap over. So I just pulled the brake master cylinder again and replaced the hydraulic hose again, because the other one went kapooty. Brand new, blew apart. Now, we have put the Holly line on it, or at least we was told it was a Holly line. I have no idea. It wasn't marked Holly. So we're just going to say it is. And we're now bleeding that line. How are we bleeding it from up here from the remote, right? No. In fact, we were trying that, and we have driven ourselves crazy trying to do it. One, because we are essentially, you know, army of one here, you know. But this is something I want to show you guys. This is a vacuum pump right here. You notice how we have it? Oh, looky there. We have a Mr. Bubble there popping. Now, I want you to watch this. This is how you bleed these T56 clutches. Clutch hydraulic line, if you want to get technical. Okay. I heard somebody say, oh, yeah, you're bleeding the clutch, you dummy. You're not bleeding the clutch, you're bleeding the clutch line. There. So, here's what you do. You get this particular end. Now, I hope you know I love you, because I'm doing this just for you. See how it's kind of a needle point, and you shove it right square down in the center. Now, I kind of started to slowly forget about this until I was 300 pumps in with my right arm, you know, the good one, and realized that my pedal isn't getting any better really at all. Now, just for gigs, we're getting better pedal instantly. Now, if it's sticking to the floor, you got a lot of air, Chuck. Okay, so I'm actually very relieved to feel this. Oh my gosh, thank you God. It's still sticking to the floor, but we had just really started this like 2 minutes ago before I grabbed you guys and said, hey, they need to see this. Let me grab a some sort of light device or a battery or something, you know. Hold on a second, let's find something. I want to show you guys this, because this is actually the most crucial part, and it'll make you want to bang your head against concrete, because, you know, I kind of was starting to feel like that. Whew. Whew. This is a rough one, boys and girls. Where did you go? Battery. Okay, well, is it on? Nope. Okay, let's revert to the old flashlight on the phone. Yep. Let's just do this trick, okay? This trick right here is worth its weight. Just trust me. If not, you'll be pumping on that sucker for days. All right, so you see that little hole clear down in there, right? That is what that goes in. Give me a second to set it up and I'll show you, okay? Hopefully you guys can see something. All I'm doing is putting this right smack dab in the center. And as you can see, I don't have a booster or anything in here because I had to remove all that to replace that line yet again. And looky there, we have air, Houston. We have quite a bit of air. I want to show you with the light right there. Oops, there we go. See all that air coming up? This is the way you bleed these suckers. I know it has a hydraulic line clear up here and all this for the bleeder valve, but this is how you get all of the air out. If you do it the other way, the old-fashioned Amish way, pumping the pedal and all that, good luck. I have never gotten, no, I take that back. I have once gotten the air out of it like that, And it was an AutoZone slave cylinder. And it actually worked very well until, remember how I told you I've had problems with those lines with the little clips on them? Yep. So we went back with the original type, and it has the original type with the clamps inside that you know, hold on for dear life. But I think I have this thing up to roughly 15 psi vacuum, and that I don't believe is going to hurt a darn thing. Hasn't yet. Not only that, everything else is under warranty, daggone it. I mean, for real, this is craziness. I've never had so much fun and complications. And make sure you're trying to keep out, you know, all these little kinks that like to happen in here. This vacuum tool is worth its weight in gold. Trust me, whenever you go to do this, you're definitely going to need one or want one. Buy one. I've had this ever since the last Trans Am I had when I was doing the clutch. And it's a gooder one. And see how we're not getting that much air right now? Oops, accidentally hit the, hold on you. We'll pump it back up, 15-ish. We're gonna get some more fine air on out of him. Come on, let's see what you got there, biggin. I'm not seeing a lot of air, which is a great thing. Now, we might actually crack the bleeder a few times if the pedal is where I want it. If it's not, I'm gonna keep going like this. This is a winner to me. There's an air bubble. I see you. I see you. But this is the way you're gonna wanna do it. Or you can bench bleed the slave before you put it on. That's probably a more gooder idea, where you just push in and out on the slave cylinder. This one was used. It came with the transmission. It had fluid in it. By the way, the Holley line fits perfect. You don't have to switch that O-ring or nothing. It is like $25 more, but it's worth it. Get the Holley line. Save yourself aggravation, heartbreak, and all that crap. And from buying like 3 sets of O-rings. Not that that's what happened, but I've got 3 sets of O-rings sitting over there for, you know, a rainy day and it's misting outside. But we don't need it, thank God. And we're getting clutch pedal, thank God. I was about to throw my hands up in the air and everything and just say, okay, we're just gonna, I actually ordered a Holley slave cylinder. Yep, I sure did, because I was in fear that the way this swapper was going, you know, we might need it, because everything did not seem gooder. It seemed to be tricky. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about this bleeding like this, so we might pump that pedal a few times, see what happens. I don't know. It might help force some air out. I mean, you don't have the system open, you know? Let's just try that real quick and just see, just for gigs, if that works more gooder. I mean, I don't know. Feels different. Like weird. I don't know. Well, anyway, kids, we're going to finish getting the air out of this. But that right there, I had to show you that little tidbit. And hopefully we got clutch in like an hour. Shoot, I don't know. I think I've already been bleeding it for like an hour and a half. Trying to do it the old Amish way. So give me a few more hours and we'll have it. All right. Ta-da! Guys and gals, we finally are wrapping up this particular episode. Now, we do have a few more to do with said banditas. We are going to do a pinion seal next, I think. And remember how I said we like didn't buy the wiring and all this kind of stuff for like the backup lights and all this? Well, the good thing is they sell them in a trio package. neutral safety and reverse something or other and whatever the other one is. So we're going to dive into the wonderful world of wiring in this too. Now, I had wanted to end this video showing you guys a little something you might want to do. If you don't, it's up to you. But remember this. That hose is remarkably close to the exhaust, okay? So I took a zip tie, wrapped it around the fuel line there, and brake lines and all that good jazz to keep it away from it as much as I could. So that's a little free tidbit, and you can slide another one on there if you want, you know, just to get it away from it. This bleeder line, I got it and the pressure line right there together. So we have learned quite a many things on this. The bleeding of this slave cylinder was a heck of a lot easier with that pump. It almost seemed like I got all the pedal at once. I know, that's weird, right? But that's exactly what it seemed to happen. So what I did is I double bled it. You heard me right, I double bled it. I would vacuum pump that line till I like really didn't get any bubbles, and then I'd crack that bleeder shortly after. I'd pull the plunger out of the little needle, I'd pull it out of the reservoir, make sure there was fluid still left in there. Would not let the air off of it. Don't just yank it up out of there real quick. Retop your fluid, and then I'd pump the pedal. And since the pedal was sticking to the floor, I let it stick to the floor. I cracked the bleeder right back into the reservoir with that extended line. That worked for me, doing both bleeders like that. I was getting air on both ends, so it really, really bled it. It did take me over an hour to bleed it. Yes, I don't know if it would have been faster. I kind of thought about double bleeding it late in the game, if you will. Like, it was already like close to an hour into it. And for like the last 15 minutes, I just decided, let's just see if we can get air out of both ends. Why not? So that's what I did. Pumped the pedal about 30 times, cracked the bleeder, tighten it down, pump the pedal again, and then I would pull the vacuum. I pulled the vacuum until there was no more air bubbles, just so you know. Not even little ones. The vacuum pump, an absolute must. But pull those lines out of the way, that way so you're not going to burn through them. You'll thank yourself later, okay? This has been a very long episode, and believe it or not, we're going to roll right into it with another one. And if it looks like I'm wearing the same clothes, and it looks like it might be the same kind of setting, well, we're going to take advantage of it. I mean, the clock is ticking. We got stuff we got to do. So away we go, all right? I hope this was great for you guys. It was a great lesson for me. And if you guys don't mind, just hit the old like and subscribe. Tell your friends. This has a lot of information on it. If I didn't touch just right on something you have questions about, by all means hit me up. Say, hey man, I didn't see how you did, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I will answer it, okay? We're all in this together, right? Not like the COVID crap that they pushed on us. Anyway, we are in all this together. We're car guys saving cars, right? Let's keep that going. And that wraps this one up. We're going to roll into another one so we can get the banditas back on the street. Dare I say it? We have a 6-speed. We see you guys next time here on Right Turn Garage TV.